Here we go, baby. Sweet, sweet victory. I told you. I told y'all a week ago, 6 days ago on Monday Night Football, I said the Cowboys were going to beat the Philadelphia Frauds. Cry, Eagles, cry. You guys are a fraudulent organization, franchise, football team, and you couldn't fool the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys should have beaten you the first time. They should have beaten you the first time, and deep down you know that's true. And 8-2 was such a false identifier for the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Cowboys called it out. 21-0. This game was 21-0 at one point. And believe me, look, I have some frustrations about this game. I think there are a lot of things that are probably getting swept under the rug that the Cowboys probably need to clean up if they want to take that next step, whether it be this year or next year. But down 21-0, the Cowboys shut down the Philadelphia Eagles in that second half, and they scored 24 unanswered points. And you know what? The win gets me excited, right? Winning at home gets me excited. Getting a big win, a signature win like this gets me very excited. But you know what's got me excited more than anything is this defense has a pulse. And I don't know if it's just because we've been exposed to such a terrible defense all year long that we have finally seen a little bit of stoppage from this defense that we're like, oh my God, we may actually have a defense. But I think if you have this defense in the situations where we were playing the Carolina Panthers, the Green Bay Packers, this season looks a little bit different. And I think that was the frustrating part. And that's what I had echoed earlier in the season, is that it would have been a lot different if we had some sort of defense. And this defense is coming together. And it's really due to a lot of the pieces that the Cowboys have added on. I mean, you got a new-looking defense after the bye week. You cut Kaiir Elam, thank God. Dallas should be throwing a parade just for that. Obviously getting Quinnen Williams, obviously getting Logan Wilson, obviously getting DeMarvion Overshown. You get Malik Hooker back. This defense is playing well. And you just have to look at this second half. I mean, they gave up 21 points in that first half, and it did not look good for a bit, right? But there's a reason why we say this football game's 60 minutes, whether you like where you are at that moment or not. It's a 60-minute football game. And you know what? I got to echo Brian Schottenheimer. I think there's a lot of things to get mad at him for. I think he's atrocious in the red zone. I think his play calling duties should be lifted from him. But that's another talk another day, and maybe I might dive into that later in this video. But he says, and he told these guys in the locker room, said that this game's about the fourth quarter. If we can get this game to the fourth quarter, it's all about winning the fourth quarter. And that's exactly what they did. They went into the fourth quarter down 21-14. They scored 10 points to win the ball game. And I love that type of toughness to this football team. This was a tough win. They earned this win. You can't take it away from these boys. It's been a tough season, man. They have put us through the ringer this year. But you can't take it away from these boys tonight. You can't take it away from them. They should be celebrated. They should be praised, rightfully so, for beating what a lot of people thought to be the best football team in the National Football League. Now, did I think that? No. And I told you last week too. I said, look, the Cowboys, they're gonna beat the Raiders, and they're gonna beat the Eagles, because the Eagles are just not that good. They really aren't. They're a fraudulent team. And I really love the defensive effort. That's the one thing that stuck out to me today. The offense could have been a lot better. I think they started off very slowly. They have high expectations. And George Pickens, man, I feel like we talk about him every week. George Pickens is a fantastic football player, and he's sort of like got that Michael Irvin feel to him. He's kind of got that Dez Bryant feel to him, that like when the ball gets going to him, the tempo is kind of established and it gets going for this Dallas Cowboys offense. Unfortunately, when it's outside of George Pickens, and say, for example, it's CeeDee Lamb who has bricks for hands and butterfingers, and he's dropping the ball 3 times in another game against the Philadelphia Eagles, the tempo and the rhythm is not as much, and you can just feel it. You're just watching this offense play it out, and, they're forcing this connection from 4 to 88, and it's just not working. But George Pickens makes it feel so natural. 9 receptions, 146 yards, a touchdown. And I say all of that, right? I'm criticizing CeeDee Lamb, but he had 4 receptions for 75 yards. Despite the 3 drops, he had a really immaculate catch for 48 yards early in this game. But the biggest thing here is things fell the Cowboys' way. And we never see that. The fumble, great defensive force fumble by Sam Williams. Shout out to Sam Williams, number 54, for getting the fumble. Didn't turn into anything. But then you get the punt return. Didn't turn into anything. But, you just see these plays that are actually happening for the Cowboys that we normally don't see happen for the Dallas Cowboys. And that was kind of the biggest thing that I saw, is that the Eagles beat themselves very much so. And that's kind of what I've seen from the Eagles all season long, is I just haven't seen it catch up to them yet. I haven't seen their failures and their miscues catch up to, and it caught up to them today, and the Cowboys took advantage. And the Cowboys got into field goal range as they did, and they won this game 24-21. But big win, and every year you're always looking for a signature win. There's going to be those games that are sort of lopsided where you're favored and you should win those, and Cowboys most of the time are able to win those, and unfortunately they haven't. They lost to the Chicago Bears when they were favored. They lost to the Carolina Panthers when they were favored. But the Philadelphia Eagles, being their caliber, right, 8-2, 5 straight wins, they were coming to Dallas, and a lot of people didn't expect the Cowboys to get this win. But a lot of people forget, this Cowboys team looks different. They are different. The offense more or less is the same, and it's what we've seen from week 1. But like I said, going back to that defense, the defense is different, and that's why you see what you've seen in the past 2 weeks. It's just not the Raiders. They can't come at us this week and tell us it was just the Raiders. That's why you beat them 33-16. No, back-to-back weeks, the Cowboys have held opponents to 16 points and 21 points, giving their offense a chance. And with this type of offense, you should expect them to score at least 3 touchdowns, and if that's the margin of error moving forward, okay, I think there's something plausible here. Now, look, back to my prediction. I said that the Cowboys are going to be the Eagles. Was never worried about this. I did say, however, that the Cowboys' playoff chances were very slim, and unfortunately, I still stick by that. They hurt themselves a lot. But the good part about it is they do control their destiny now. You want to go to the playoffs, you got to win out. It's that simple. That's the easiest route, is win the remaining of your games, and it doesn't get any easier because on Thursday, Thanksgiving, you got the Kansas City Chiefs, who, I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon here and say that the Cowboys, since they beat the Eagles, that they're going to go beat the Chiefs. That's going to be a tough football game, and it's going to be very similar to this football game where it's going to be low scoring, and the offense has to be better, and the defense is going to have to make a lot of plays, and they're going to have to stop, a high efficient offense like the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. I don't think we beat the Kansas City Chiefs on Thanksgiving, but I have been proven wrong more than enough times this year. But, hats off to these guys. Really, it was such a big win, and it's been a while since the Cowboys have won a football game like this. Last season was abysmal. This year, they were the exciting win against New York, had the dominating wins that we've had. But to take on a team that most likely will be in the playoffs, and the Cowboys fought the full 60 minutes to win that football game, that's a signature win. And I just hope the Dallas Cowboys cannot get full of themselves and say, hey, we beat the world champs, but just take this momentum and build on this defense that they have restructured mid-season that does look pretty good. And this offense be a little bit more efficient with their play calling, Brian Schottenheimer. And maybe we can get into that rhythm, and maybe we can build something here and get something going in the season, because they're not out of it. I mean, it's not over, but they do control their own destiny. And again, I'll say I'm proud of these boys. It was a hard win today, down 21 points, guys. They were down 21-0, and they came back. Also, got to talk about Dak Prescott becoming the all-time passing leader in Cowboys history. Really fantastic, really awesome stuff when you think about it. Surpassing Tony Romo, obviously my guy. But that should not be underlooked or overlooked or whatever you want to call it. That's big. To go past Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman, Tony Romo, and now be the all-time passing leader. It's going to be a long time before someone comes and does that again. I mean, just put that into the frame of reference. How special Dak Prescott means to this franchise and this organization, but it's not every day that someone comes in and resets franchise records. So I'm really glad that a milestone like that could be capitalized with a big win like this today. But other than that, I will see you guys on the quick turnaround. We got a big game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Must win, must win. Hopefully they can pull it out. My official prediction is, unfortunately, I don't know if they do. But, of course, I will be here after the post game for my reaction. As always, go Cowboys.